Hello, this is Victor Cuevas with Victor for Advice. I've got a very, very important presentation for you today, and it's something you really, really need to know about it. So please, I recommend you stick with this presentation today. It has to do with COVID-19 stimulus bill that recently came out and how it affects your financial future. And oh, it is definitely going to affect our financial futures. All right. So let's move on with it then. Now, first of all, some interesting facts about the stimulus bill. You can take up to $100,000 out of your 401k without any penalty. Now, you'll have to pay tax on whatever you take out, but there's no penalty on it. So that's a positive. And now, it used to be in the past that you could only take out $50,000 in loans from your 401k. Well, that amount now goes up to $100,000. And then required minimum distributions are waived for 2020. Required minimum distributions is for people that are 72 years of age, have a qualified retirement plan, and at that point they have to start taking money out. They don't have to take money out this year if they don't want to. So that's been waived. Now, this is the largest stimulus bill in the history of the world, folks. $2.2 trillion. Think about that. $2.2 trillion. Just put that in perspective. It's over 2 times bigger than the Obama stimulus bill for 2008 during the Great Recession. That was $850 billion, and we thought, oh my goodness, that was huge back in those days. Now, what's in the bill? $540 billion for large businesses and local loans, $377 billion for small business assistance, $290 billion one-time checks to Americans, $280 billion for business tax cuts, $260 billion for extended unemployment benefits, $180 billion for healthcare spending. But wait, folks, there's more. $175 billion for state and local government aid, $45 billion disaster assistance, $42 billion food stamps and safety net, $35 billion other miscellaneous spending, $32 billion for education spending, $10 billion for personal tax cuts. Now, how do we as a nation pay for this unprecedented stimulus bill? Now, think about it. Think about how we're going to pay for it, folks, because it ain't free. Now, I can think of 4 ways. Well, we can raise taxes. I don't like that idea. Or we can earn enough tax revenue from a future strong economy to pay for it. In other words, we get a pay raise. Just like you going out and getting a second job to earn more income to pay down your debt. Well, we were on track to doing that because we were generating extra income like crazy because of our economy, how on fire it was. But that's gone now. That's gone. So how long will it take for us to get back there? We need the money now. Well, we could print the money. Worked in 2008. Or did it? I mean, what kind of deficit do we have right now? Well, we can borrow it. But from whom? China? Saudi Arabia? Russia? Japan? They all own part of our debt. Some of those countries don't like us too much. How much longer are those countries going to keep buying our debt? I mean, with interest rates so low, it may not be worth it for them to take out more of our debt. I mean, for what? For peanuts? Interest rates are so low. Or they may say, okay, but you need to pay us more interest. Can we afford to do that? Do you realize that as of this month, April 2020, we as a nation are $24.1 trillion in debt? $2.1 trillion in debt. You got to think about that, folks. Oh, but it gets worse, my friends, much worse. Now, here's an excerpt from U.S. Economy and News, April 2020. Intragovernment debt. The Treasury owes this part of the debt to other federal agencies. In April 2020, intragovernmental holdings totaled $6 trillion, or 24.9% of our debt. Now, why would the government owe money to itself? Some agencies, like the Social Security Trust Fund, take in more revenue from taxes than they need. Rather than stick this cash under a giant mattress, these agencies invest in U.S. Treasuries. Now, folks, I want you to look at this right here. This transfers their excess revenue to the general fund where it is spent. Okay, the general fund. What's that? Basically the checking account of the federal government. It's the pile of money that the government has to pay all the bills. So the money comes into the Social Security Trust Fund. The Social Security Trust Fund pays out all their bills, including paychecks to people on receiving Social Security checks, of which I am one of them, finally. And then, instead of that excess money staying in the Social Security Fund, that goes to the general fund. That goes to the federal government. The federal government takes that and they spend it on whatever they want. They redeem their treasury notes for funds as needed. The federal government then either raises taxes or issues more debt to raise money. Now, the federal government, whenever they need money to pay back Social Security, they can raise taxes or they can issue more debt, print more money. How convenient. They take the money from your future Social Security, they spend it, they give Social Security an IOU, and if they can't pay it, they have to raise taxes or print money. Whew! Which agency owns most treasuries? Social Security, by a long shot. Folks, this is the classic, by the book definition of a Ponzi scheme. You see it right there. The federal government has a Ponzi scheme going on with Social Security. There is no money in the Social Security Trust Fund. None. All the money comes in, goes out to pay bills, and then the federal government takes it and spends it. If you or I did that, we'd go to jail. Just so you'll know. Okay, folks, now let's get real. Let's get serious. The coronavirus stimulus bill is $2.2 trillion. As a nation, we take in $3.4 trillion in revenue a year. That's what we earn. That's our paycheck, basically, as a nation. Our national annual budget is $4.6 trillion. So we already spend $1.2 trillion more than we make. I want you to know that, folks. This is the true facts. Our budget, what we take in, What we earn from taxes and everything else that the government does is $3.4 billion. But we spend, our budget is $4.6 billion. We're $1.2 billion in the hole. So do you get the picture? We have no reserves. None. We don't have anything in the bank. We borrow or print $1.2 trillion a year to keep the lights on. And we just coughed up a $2.2 trillion stimulus bill. Hello? Is anybody listening to me out there? This is where we're at. It's called deficit spending. In other words, spending money we ain't got. We don't have it. Do you get it? Do you get it? Because some of you don't. And we've got politicians out there saying, Medicare for all, free college for all, free this, free that. We're $1.2 trillion in the hole each year before the coronavirus stimulus bill of $2.2 trillion. Like the late Margaret Thatcher said, the problem with socialism is that eventually you run out of other people's money. Folks, we can't keep doing this as a country. And there's a lot of you who better get with the program and demand accountability from the government. And stop looking for freebies. Elections have consequences. You're being lied to by so many politicians who just want your vote. They can't possibly do what they say they will do. They can't. There's no money for it. Folks, I've just shown you pure facts. It's the truth. There's no money for it unless we borrow or print more money. Do we want to keep borrowing money from countries who don't particularly like us? Do we? Do we want to keep borrowing money from Social Security? One of these days, the government could just say, hey, Social Security, it's no more. Then what? Then what are people going to do who haven't prepared enough and only have Social Security and a few extra dollars? What's going to happen to them? We can't keep creating debt notes, printing money. We can't. The interest payments get higher and higher until one day we could very well default. Meanwhile, our money becomes more and more worthless. The more we print, the more worthless our money becomes. How much spending power do you want your money to have in 20 years? In 20 years, do you want your dollars to be worth half of what they're worth today? 75% of what they're worth today? Keep working and working hard, saving and saving and saving, and 20 years later, your money isn't worth that much? That's where we're headed. We've been on that track since the early 70s when we came off the gold standard, folks. Our money keeps going more down in value more and more and more each year. And this situation is going to help. Well, what can we do as individuals to protect ourselves? We can't rely on the government. So what can we do as individuals to protect ourselves? Well, we need to get our personal financial house in order. Get out of debt as soon as you can. This is the message I want to get out from all this horrible mess we're going through right now. Not only loss of life, but loss of our economy. Loss of our style of living. Most of you have been wanting to do something about your debt and about saving, but you just don't get around. So many people spend more money on vacation planning than they do on financial planning. Now is the time, more than ever before, that you need to get your personal financial house in order. Start getting out of debt. Pull out all the stops and get it done. So many people right now are looking at financial disaster because they don't have any savings. There's no money in their bank. Become a saver, folks. Start saving money each month. Americans, unfortunately, are horrible savers. We need to become savers. Get to the point that you can survive something like this for 3 to 6 months. Don't be like the government and borrow your way out of it. If you borrow your way out of it, you're in the same boat as the government. You're going to have to work more hours, get a second job, make more income to pay off more debt. It's a vicious circle. You can't go out and print the money like the government does. So you'll have to either make more money or borrow the money. That just makes your life harder and harder. So right now, start saving that money so you can have that 3 to 6 months of a buffer. Immediately stop contributing to your 401k or any retirement plan until you've gotten out of debt and established a strong rainy day fund. I'm saying something controversial, but believe me, I'm going to show you why it makes sense. Stop. If you've got a debt problem, if you've got any debt other than your home, or maybe a car, most of you are in a lot of credit card debt and a lot of other debt, and you don't have any savings, you're lucky if you have $500 or $1,000 in the bank, you're contributing to a 401k, stop immediately. All of you, if you're putting money in a retirement account, stop it if you're in that situation. This is far more important now than saving for retirement. Later on, once you're on strong financial ground, you can start saving for retirement. But not now. Why do you think the government increased the limit you borrow from your 401k to $100,000 instead of $50,000? Why do you think they are allowing you to take, without penalty, up to $100,000 out of your 401k? You might be looking at your 401k right now, and you've got $80,000. You're saying, I can take all of it out without penalty. Because Americans are poor savers and don't have much in the bank. The government knows that. What good is your 401k if you have to rate it every time you have a financial emergency? See, the government knows that you go to work, your employer has a 401k, you just automatically start contributing to it out of your paycheck. You don't notice it. And you go, okay, I'm doing good, but you don't do anything with your personal finances, and that you go out and get in debt. You don't have any savings. So what happens when something like this occurs? You raid your 401k. You borrow against it. Or if you went to a different employer, you have your 401k sitting over there, you cash it out. So what good was it to have it in the first place? Right? Get healthy is the next thing. Get healthy. I've been promoting this all my life. I am a big health and fitness nut. All right? But it's paid off for me because I never get sick. So it is one of the best things. It's really maybe the best thing you can do for your financial future is to get healthy and stay healthy. You may need to work until you're 70 years or older. And that's already going on. Will you be able to? How much of your retirement money, listen to me folks, how much of your retirement money will be spent on health care because of health issues most of us bring upon ourselves because of lifestyle decisions? I know many Americans have issues that just came upon they don't have control of, but the most of us, we bring our health problems upon ourselves. We need to stop that. We need to get healthy and stay healthy. Your financial future depends on it. Let me finish with this. Our government may someday have to raise taxes. Now listen to me on this, folks. Now, we have a president right now that doesn't want to do that. Okay? But he won't be president forever. He's not going to be president forever. What will your retirement be like if all of it, everything that you draw in retirement in the future is taxable, and our taxes are twice what they are now? I don't know where taxes are going to be 15 or 20 years from now. But if we don't get a grip as a nation, we could be paying twice as much tax as we are now. And now you're retired. How far is your tax money? How far is your retirement money going to go when it's going out to taxes? Think about that. If we as a nation don't get a grip on this and certain politicians get in power that will taxes into the ground, we won't have much money left over in retirement after taxes. That's the truth of it, folks. And you have to realize that. I want to encourage you to look for ways to create a tax-free retirement. Create means of being able to draw your income tax-free so you can escape what we call a tax bomb that could be coming in the future. So whatever happens with taxes in the future, you can get more for your money. You can keep more of your money. Because like I said, you're going to need it. You're going to need it. And the good thing is that I can help you create a tax-free retirement. I can help you get out of debt. I can help you start a rainy day fund. And you know what? We can accomplish that all with one financial instrument. The same financial instrument can provide you with a tax-free retirement, help get you out of debt, and create a rainy day fund. And that's what you need. Now, I want to recommend that you read books written by Robert Kiyosaki. Man, I tell you, he's one of the greatest guys out there. I love reading his books. I've learned so much over the years, and I wish I'd have known this 30 years ago, what those books talk about. But it's Rich Dad, Poor Dad and the Cash Flow Quadrant. Go out today or get on Amazon.com and order those two books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the Cash Flow Quadrant, and check out his videos online. Awesome. But he preaches, folks, acquiring assets, not liabilities. So you stop buying things that put you in debt with no financial return, and instead you buy assets that pay you an income. I know a lot of you like to go out there and buy those boats and buy your motorcycles and buy cars, frankly, that you can't afford, and buy this and buy that. All that sucks money out of your pocket. None of it puts money in your pocket. And that's what's causing so many of us in this country to be in the situation we're in now. So buy assets, not liabilities, and read his books. That's it. Take this tragedy, folks, and change it, and take it and change your life for the better. Forever. Make a permanent change. Take this time that many of you are at home and can't work and make a change for the rest of your life. And I'll be happy to assist you any way I can. Okay, this is Victor Cuevas, Victor for Advice. God bless you.